What's going on, boxing fans? Frank Martin versus Tank Davis. Let's talk about this real quick. You know, in the beginning, watching the pressers, Frank Martin, he talked big. His confidence was extremely high. But don't get me wrong in what I'm about to say, because if you watch any pre fight press conference, confidence is always high. Everyone believes they're going to knock the opponent out. But you know, in reality, sometimes it's a bit more difficult to do in the ring than it is to do sitting at a press conference with a mic in front of you. So anyway, Frank Martin seemed to be riding high on his confidence. And don't get me wrong, once again, confidence is a great attribute in any sport. First four rounds were all Frank. He was beating Tank to the punch and pushing Davis back with those combos. So, based on the effect of the punches in the first four rounds, I would assume Frank Martin was the stronger of the two. Now, it could have been also a case of Tank Davis taking a little easy in the beginning, letting Frank spend some energy. Any which way it goes, first four rounds was given to Frank Martin. On or about the fourth, Frank started, for some strange reason, to languish in the corners, which is, we all know is a no-no. Even Frank Martin knows that's a no-no. I'm sure when Frank's watching sparring in the gym, he yells out to the boxers sparring to get out the corner and off the ropes. It's a normal thing, you would say, in the gym and sparring to somebody that's languishing or spending too much time in the corner of the rope. So anyway, that was one of his first mistakes. When Frank was not in the corner, he was sitting on the ropes, which is another bad idea and unfortunately is a sign of fatigue. But due to Frank's penchant for the corner and ropes, he enabled Tank Davis to stop him with that KO punch. Simply put, Frank did not have the stamina, the attrition to fight effectively after the fourth round in a manner that would benefit him anyway. So he started to slowly fade, while Tank started picking up the pace and aggression about that time. So what we had was Frank Martin on the decline somewhere after the fourth, and Tank Davis on the incline sometime after the fourth round. All right. And once again, I would highly place the blame on that and lack of hardcore near-death physical conditioning, stamina type training. I mean, pro boxing coaches and trainers, they expect the fighter to already be skilled. They expect the fighter to be in fighting condition and shape. So pro boxing coaches and trainers, not all of them quite obviously, but a great amount of them, they work on the boxer with and only boxing. And you got to remember, this is the pro boxer that has, many pro fights already. But during that process, they neglect physical conditioning and stamina, attrition, because that is the most important attribute when it comes to this whole boxing game. I'm not talking in the first four rounds when you're fresh and full of energy, by the way. I'm talking later on down the line when, energy levels a bit low, punches aren't that crisp. That is a vital time in your boxing career and in the ring to get your shit together and be on point, because that's about the time knockouts happen. So, Frank Martin does have the boxing skills. He demonstrated them within the first four rounds of that fight. He fast hands, well-educated combinations, and he demonstrated some great footwork and ring generalship. But once again, he got to focus on that stamina and conditioning training when he get back to the gym. With all that said, What's next for Mr. Tank Davis? The way I see it, there's four logical options: Lomachenko, Shakur Stevenson, or two rematch options, one with Ryan Garcia or Isaac Cruz. And to me, the better option on paper at this point in time is Lomachenko, the way I see it. You know, Tank and Ryan are all buddies now. And Ryan is going to be dealing with some personal issues, as we all know. So let's just get him out the way right now. That's an option anyway. That leaves us with old Mr. Isaac Cruz. And I'm not totally counting Isaac Cruz out as an option. I mean, after all, he gave Tank a hell of a competitive fight, we all will admit to. Shakur Stevenson would be the fighter, and my personal preference, to fight Tank Davis next. But we all know that's a little issue and a tricky fight to put together. So most likely, they'll address Shakur Stevenson later on down the line when all other options are gone. Overall, it was a great fight card as far as I saw it. The main event, I believe, lived up to everyone's expectations as far as the outcome. I mean, when you have a guy that knocks the majority, beyond the majority of his opponents out, you can start to perceive the outcome of his next fight. And that is the nature of Tank Davis at this point. It appears that no matter what, when, where, why, who he fights, he'll be stopping you. Anyway, as usual, that's all I have for you. I'm out of here.